Moving the needle in any area of our life means that we must be willing to go from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. Now, in this series, I'm going to define what that even means and how you get from one stage to another. I'm Dr. Maisha, and I am a master NLP and hypnosis practitioner, as well as an NLP trainer and the founder of the Mind Remapping Academy and the Mind Remapping Nation. And I help people eliminate the unconscious negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions so that they can create a life they design. Now, before we jump right in, I want to go ahead and invite you to hit subscribe so you never miss one of our mind remapping vitamins. And if you have not already, check out our new community, the Mind Remapping Nation, by going to mindremappingnation.com. Now, anytime we're learning something new in our lives, we have to be willing to go through the stages of learning. And going through these stages are what help us to move from the not knowing to the mastery of execution. Now, when I talk about this progression, I'm not necessarily talking about the stages of change. I've talked about the stages of change in many previous videos, but what I'm talking about is going from being unconsciously unskilled to unconsciously skilled. So when I say unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence, that is what I mean. We're going to be going through and defining each of these in this video series, but today I'm just going to give you an overview. Now, to illustrate the progression and what this means, think about a baby. Now, before around 3 months or so, babies don't really have much awareness of their body parts of their feet. They are in a state of unconscious incompetence as it pertains to, say, walking. Before a baby develops the capacity to walk, it's in a state of unconscious incompetence. Yeah, around 3 or 4 months it discovers that it has feet, but it doesn't know what to do with those feet. So what does the baby do? Put his or her feet in their mouth, right? And so this is a state of unconscious incompetence. They don't know that the feet are for walking. They don't have an awareness of what walking really is. But somewhere along the way, as we parents are sort of standing the baby, bouncing the baby on their feet, they begin to realize that these feet and legs are for standing. But they don't yet have the skill or the capacity to stand yet. They haven't developed the musculature, they haven't developed the coordination, and so they can't stand. They're in that state of conscious incompetence, meaning they're conscious that they have legs and they're supposed to support them, but they haven't acquired the skill or the capacity to do that yet. Now, fast forward to whenever your child, if you have one, starts pulling up, right? They're beginning to develop their capacity. They're willing to practice, and they start to develop this conscious skill, this conscious competence. As they pull up and they cruise the couches and then they take that first step, this is developing their conscious competence, meaning they're consciously developing the skill. Now, they still consciously have to focus on putting one foot in front of the other. They have to consciously focus on taking those steps. But then at some point, they get skilled enough to where not only can they walk, but they can run. And then what happens? They don't even think about walking. So now as adults, we, as it pertains to walking, are in a state of unconscious competence because we don't have to think about walking anymore. So this is what it means to move from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. And it may be an oversimplification, but if you look at things in your life, there are things that you know that you have learned and have become unconsciously skilled at. And those things for you, and you can put them in the chat box, let me know what they are and share them. But there are things like, for me, as a physician, there are skills that I have now become unconsciously competent about, And there are skills as a physician that I know that I am consciously incompetent. Like, I am not a surgeon, so I am conscious that I'm unskilled in that area. However, there are certain things that I can diagnose with my eyes closed, and that is unconscious competence. So what area of your life are you trying to level up? And where do you need to take yourself from that unconscious or conscious incompetence to that unconscious competence? And by the way, when you attain this unconscious competence, you're on the road to mastery. So that's what we're really talking about here. How do you get on the road to mastery? Now, in the next part of the series, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what it means to be unconsciously incompetent and what you need to do to move into that next phase. Now, if you are wondering, what is the basis of all this that we're talking about? This is neurolinguistic programming, or as we sometimes call it, NLP. NLP is a methodology, a set of tools and processes that really help you to understand how your mind works, understand how your brain works at the unconscious level, so that you can really be at the helm, at the source, in the driver's seat of all of your thoughts, actions, emotions, and therefore the driver's seat of your results. So if you're wanting to learn and be in the driver's seat in your life, you might want to consider learning NLP. It has application across the board. And if you're interested in learning some of these methodologies and processes, you can go to remapmymind.com. And there you can learn all about NLP, hypnosis, and creating your future coaching processes. And you can learn about the upcoming trainings that we have coming soon. So go to remapmymind.com. And of course, if you think you want a bit more personal work, you can always book a complimentary wake-up call with me going to remapmymind.today. And there you can book a call to learn more either about the upcoming programs or just to learn what is the next steps that you need to take to begin to get at the source of your mind using some of these unconscious empowerment processes. All right, so stay tuned, because the next episode, the next video we're going to talk about, we're going to start moving through unconscious incompetence all the way to unconscious competence to mastery. All right, so we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Namaste.